ultimately, it's worth it. This country needs people who believe that there's a future for it, who would work towards that future, and explore every avenue, including self-sacrifice, to give our children some hope that they don't have to live in the world that we've seen in the last 5, 10, 15 years.
So it's actually going to be a tough one to unseat the APC.
It will be. Anybody who tells you...
But is that possible?
Absolutely. But it's not going to be easy.
But can it happen in 2027?
Yes, certainly.
But there are those who think that the only way it can happen is all of you in opposition come together with a united front. That's the only way. Well,
there is some merit in that position. Let me remind you, in the news here, just before we started this program, I saw the newly sworn in again governor of Osun State speak in a very confident, very comfortable manner. APC was trounced in Osun, and we didn't even see a coalition or collaboration or a gang up against the APC. And the parties all competed against each other, and yet APC was defeated. Now, all sorts of arguments can be made. People say this is an off-season election, this is unusual. We've even had stories that there was a deal between President Tinubu and the governor for the president to support a delegate from emerging as governor, and then delegate in turn supports President Tinubu. We don't believe that. We believe that the ruling party, Accord Party, defeated APC comprehensively, and there's no reason why this cannot repeat itself at a national level. We are working hard. Parties will collaborate in some form.
But there may not be any coalition.
Well, I think, strictly speaking, when you use the word coalition, it implies some kind of legal and structural collapsing of boundaries. And it's a bit late for that. The INEC has registered all of us as individual parties. It's difficult to coalesce around anything. But there are all sorts of other relationships and alliances that can be built. And we're looking at all the options that are available. This time next month, I think Nigerians would see the emergence of quite possibly a phenomenon that promises to be promising. It will take efforts. Yeah. It will take a lot of give and take. But we believe it is feasible. And beyond that, we actually believe that it is absolutely essential.
What makes it difficult to beat Bola Tinubu and the APC?
Many things. APC is not a party. It's a monster eating itself up and eating everybody up. You have a party that has a president who is quite possibly the most powerful president, a president who has given himself, or has been given by the people around him, the most awesome powers to do anything he wants to do. Including the National Assembly. You have a president who believes that he must have all the power around him, and he appears to have garnered 32 governors. 32.
31.
31.
At the last count.
Yes, okay, 31. Thank
you almost counted Osun.
Yes,
but
I'm glad you corrected me there. And quite possibly about 75% of the National Assembly, members of the National Assembly, around him, in his party. And he's still uncomfortable. He's still living in fear that it's not enough.
But that structure is politically monstrous.
It is a monster. It's monstrous. But if they believe this is the only way in which they can win an election, by gathering and garnering everybody into their corners, they are welcome.
Well, isn't that what you would have wished for if you were leading the APC?
Well, if I didn't ask everybody to ditch their mandates, if I didn't have to convince people one way or the other to abandon the people who voted for them, if I didn't have to promise heaven and hell and earth, if I didn't have to bribe politicians with being re-elected, I would say yes. If people are attracted by our party's achievements, not figures, not statistics, real achievements.
So the movement into the APC is not organic as far as you're concerned?
No, it's not. It's mechanical, and it is designed, and it is very, very damaging to this country's democracy.
If you were in their shoes, would you have said the same thing?
Whose shoes?
APC.
Like I said, if it's part of a design in which I'm part of, and thank God I'm not part of that. I peeped in briefly in the party and walked out, and I'm glad I did. But if I was in the APC, I wouldn't say we need 31 governors, the National Assembly, some elements of the judiciary, some support from INEC. I would say that is not the way to do it.
Is it the force of the ruling party that is expanding in scope, or the force of the opposition that is not able to withstand its ground?
It's its fault if it creates an environment that makes it relatively easy for politicians to walk from their side of the divide to it. If you have to promise immunity, if you have to promise almost near certainty that governors will get tickets back irrespective of whether they perform well, if you have to induce National Assembly members with coming back again for their seats, I don't want to impute other interests that I have no evidence for. But look, this is an unnatural, unusual, and then potentially dangerous situation we have. But you want to say that this is normal? A party that is popular among politicians, not among the people, among politicians. The party to whom everybody is running. You have to ask questions. What are these people running to the APC for? What has happened since 2023 to make Tinubu and his government so attractive to politicians and everybody else when 2, 3, 4 years ago, APC, nobody would have sworn that the APC that Buhari left would even breathe in this country. Buhari left a very bad record. Tinubu took over and plunged the country into deeper crisis. His first 1 year, I have no doubt there must have been millions of Nigerians who said, if we knew this is what this man would do, announce the removal of subsidy without a backup plan, do all these major policies, monetary and fiscal policies, promise heaven and hell by throwing us into, promise heaven by throwing us into hell and promising that hell will freeze over and will become heaven. This is what the president did.
You are the inference I get from what you are saying is that Nigeria is worse than it used to be 3 years ago.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But the IMF says that the macroeconomic resilience has improved. The government is saying the reforms are working. But in the very same assessment, it says that poverty has reached 63% on Nigeria's national poverty line, and the estimated 27 million Nigerians facing food insecurity. That is late of 2025. But if you look at it, and the government of the day, the Minister of Finance, the Budget Minister, Minister of Information, they were telling Nigerians that there are no alternatives, there are no options. This is the best route. The government is, and the Nigerian people, they are being taken on the right path. What alternative? What would you have said or do as the chairman of the PRP, or what program do you have that can counter what the APC says is the best way out for Nigeria? In fact, the APC has described Bola Tinubu as a messiah, as a man who has come to alleviate the poverty and the pains of Nigeria. And how the pains is going, the gains are here, according to the APC.
The APC is a fantastic praise singer. Praise singer would look at a naked man and say he's the best dressed person in the world. What else do you expect them to say? That the president is not in touch with reality? That the president prefers to dish out IMF figures? And look at you just said it.
And you said
the same IMF said the macroeconomic outlook is good, and then it says 63% of Nigerians are living under poverty line, under the poverty line. For goodness sake.
That's on the macroeconomic side.
Yeah, that's on the macroeconomic, but you're talking about human beings. The figures, when you hear these kind of figures, people who know how Nigerians live, and you see, I can tell you now, to be honest, when I saw these ministers lining up to say to Mr. President Rankai Dedi, you're the best president this country ever had, I am convinced now, more than any other time, I don't think these ministers go home. I don't think they're in touch with people. I don't think if they do, it is to go in for an hour or two and come out.
But you said, Dr. Baba Ahmed, that Buhari left Nigeria in a terrible state.
Yes.
But Tinubu said he's fixing it.
Yes.
What would you have done differently?
I would have taken stock of the situation. There's no law that says you have to hit the ground running. You certainly shouldn't do what Buhari did, wait for 6 months and then do nothing. What you do, Tinubu had enough background. This is one of the things that we thought was going to change the game plan. Tinubu had a lot of time to look at, study Buhari, including Buhari's resistance against him, and ask himself, why does this man think I won't make a good president? Why does Buhari not like me? The last minute, the man is campaigning against me. And you would think you would study Buhari very well and say, this is the direction I'm going. I need to address corruption. I need to address the rising insecurity at that time, which it was now. I need to give Nigeria some hope. I need to assure Nigerians that we don't need to go this way. But he didn't. He now announces a major policy shift. without necessarily studying the context of that policy.
Because they say criticism is easy, governing is hard.
Yes, that amen. Yes, he speak concerning the 2027 election. He said that the team will lose maybe before 4 p.m. in free and fair election. You understand? He say no, as in he say no go win. You understand? He also elaborate concerning the state of the nation. You understand? So the state. So what did they happen for the country? Well, I know my thought too much. Let me share also. Let me thought. One love to go.